Excellent. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and get started here. I know folks are still flowing in. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are live from the California Cybersecurity Institute at Cal Poly. And we are thrilled to have you all. We have a great discussion planned ahead, a jam-packed session. And I want to take the opportunity to first just welcome everybody and hope that folks can learn a lot about the Space Grand Challenge. You know, if folks want to, they can drop in where they're coming from into the chat. Love to see what representation we've got. But, you know, without further ado, let's get started. McKenna, if you could throw up the slides. So some housekeeping items for the top of our discussion. This session is being recorded, so be mindful of that. And in addition to that, we have opened up the Q&A so that folks can feel free to drop in questions at any point in the discussion, and we'll be happy to answer them at the end of the conversation. So get the slides up and we can start. My name is Kayvon Chinichian. I am the Senior Director of Development here at the California Cybersecurity Institute. I'm joined by my two colleagues at the CCI, and I'm just going to let them introduce themselves. I'll go with the spaceman first.
Hello, everybody from wonderful outer space today. My name is Henry Danielson. I hope you're all doing amazing today. I'm a technical advisor here in the Global Range Master, or otherwise known as the GERM. So I hope you all have a great day today. I also want to show you my great shirt I have on here with little CubeSats and the California poppy to represent. So hope you all have a good time today, and I can't wait to tell you more. Have a good one. McKenna?
Hello, everyone. I'm McKenna Downing, and I am the Marketing and Communications Coordinator here at the CCI. So helping, coordinate all of our outreach efforts and get everyone on board and registered. Excited to have you all here virtually with us and get started on this presentation.
Excellent. Well, we actually have a special message from Bill Britton, our Vice President of Information Technology and Chief Information Officer here at Cal Poly. He is also the Director of the California Cybersecurity Institute. So before we get started, let's hear from Bill. Oh, there's no audio.
Welcome to the annual Space Grand Challenge. I'm Bill Britton, Vice President of Information Technology at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. I could not be more happy to be welcoming you here to this event today. You are in for an amazing challenge. We're going to test you. We're going to question you. We're going to interview you. We're going to make sure that when you're done with this competition, you have exercised your brain, you have learned new skills, and you become our future. You know, it's really interesting. I just returned from a conference on cybersecurity and low Earth orbiting LEO satellites, mostly CubeSats. I was amazed by the size of the audience and the lack of full transparency and knowledge about cybersecurity for small platforms. Is it too costly? Is it really necessary? What's the risk? All these are the kinds of questions that they're asking in these conferences. And yet, amazingly, you're competing with exactly those kind of problem sets in this challenge. I am most excited for what our future brings, because I know that you'll achieve great things in this challenge. You'll learn things, and you'll become the future and protect those platforms for us. You're going to have a ton of fun. I want you to have the most fun possible. I want you to stay safe and think about your cyber future. Thanks for coming to Cal Poly, and thanks for being part of the Space Grand Challenge. Britton out.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Bill. So just to kind of build on some of the themes that Bill mentioned, the California Cybersecurity Institute is part of Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, and a big theme and living mantra of ours here at Cal Poly is the learn by doing culture that animates everything that we do, including the Space Grand Challenge. What you're seeing today is much a product of Cal Poly students working tirelessly to put together this competition and as well as many other items through the CCI. At the CCI, we focus on bolstering cyber defense, both locally and nationally. Our effort is broken into 3 distinct verticals: training to reskill and upskill folks in the workforce, accelerating the unique learn by doing pedagogy that is available here at Cal Poly, and empowering K through 12 initiatives around cybersecurity, educational initiatives around cybersecurity, which is exactly where this program nests within as our flagship CTF or Capture the Flag program. But I'm gonna give the keys to the presentation to Henry, and he's gonna walk you guys through what the Space Grand Challenge is and what to expect. Henry, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you, man. It's so great to be up here emitting a little space dust for you all today. You can see in the background, it's a great clear day. You can see the clouds. It's just amazing. Well, what is the Space Grand Challenge? Great question. Thanks for asking in the back. The Space Grand Challenge is an international competition this year, open to middle and high school students from across the globe on October 7th through the 9th, 2022. Teams will compete in a virtual competition to solve mission Collexium Z850, a satellite-hacked cybercrime. The things that we wanted to update you today and kind of give you a little bit of core knowledge is making sure that you have some background knowledge in coding languages like Python, Java, JavaScript, C++, SQL, or SQL, depending on whose world you're in. And again, these are not all required, but we'd love for you to have dabbled or touched in some of them. Also reading code, designing patterns, and understanding code injections, ciphers, which we'll talk a little bit about later today, and other things like malware and a virtual private network or a VPN. So these are some of the things that we're going to be doing in the Space Grand Challenge. And we do have a wonderful course with about 85 hours of material for you or curriculum for you to go through. So another part of this is the attainable and translatable skills from the Space Grand Challenge. So we have 3 items employees we found that they need and want: digital literacy, cyber literacy, and cloud literacy. Some of the skills that you get from this, again, are data science, information technology, cybersecurity, AI, machine learning, cloud, as well as orbital dynamics and orbital mechanics and understanding how space touches cybersecurity. What to expect on game day? All day Saturday, we give you 7 hours on October 8th to be able to compete within the system itself and the game. We've esportsified it and gamified it. It's amazing. We use the Unity rooms. Those are rooms that are built for PS5, Xbox, and any gaming that you're normally doing with some kind of console, a popular console. We're using Unity development, which are amazing details in these rooms. So it's 7 hours long to prepare your team with, overlapping breaks, of course. And we're going to ask you to use Discord, which is most young people are using while they're gaming, to divide and conquer with, clear communication on the platform. Gameplay all will be recorded and broadcast on Twitch by our Cal Poly esports team. Yay! Woohoo! Make sure your machine has all the minimum requirements installed. If you go to our page, it has that listed. Also live scoring, but not the final scoring until after the competition. And then opening and closing ceremonies is hosted over Zoom on Friday and as well on Sunday. All right, what I'd like to do next is I do a little quick game preview. These are our Unity rooms, and in the game they're called locations. And these are many different rooms. There's about 9 of them, 9 or 10 of them. And what happens basically is you get into a room and you're given challenges and you're trying to write down the answer to the challenges, which give you key to the puzzles and or different places. So one of the things is this room right here is our ground station. And you can see there's a bunch of computers, moonshot satellites is one of them. And here's one of the puzzles. Once in orbit, the spacecraft will have 2 main forces exerting their grab onto it. And what is it? Burning space dust, circular orbit and flat orbit, parabolic orbit, and elliptical orbit. Which one is the correct answer? So this will help you during the challenge because these are clues that will give you a better idea of what's actually going on. And the actual answer is the tangential velocity and, sorry, can't read that one, and the gravitational pull. So anyway, that's challenge 2 to just kind of give you an idea of what the challenges are in this room. And these are one of the things that you're going to see inside the game.
Awesome. Thank you, Henry. As a reminder, folks, if you have any questions, please feel free to throw in your questions into the Q&A portal. One thing to kind of emphasize, and Henry alluded to this, we have materials for the students that are participating. So folks can expect that on our portal, on our Space Grand Challenge website. After this event, sometime early next week, we'll be sharing an email that will kind of detail out all the resources that are there. It's important to flag that that will include both the registration, prep materials, as well as the mission brief and all the requirements, both in terms of software and hardware. We'll also this year be doing the competition in a modified format to accommodate Spanish speakers, as well as resources for the hearing and visually impaired. And additionally, you know, and some folks might already be thinking about this, the competition is in October and registration is open now, which means that the resources are available now, which means that the sooner that folks register, the more time they have to prep for the Space Grand Challenge in October. So, you know, I'm just throwing that tip out there for folks to think about. Now, a lot of questions usually come to us about what the expectations are from teachers, administrators, and coaches that will be part of the Space Grand Challenge teams. First off, I want to just do a quick round of applause to all the teachers, administrators, and coaches for volunteering their time to help their students compete in this really phenomenal opportunity to use their unique skills in a gamified environment like this. We ask that every team have a adult supervisor, or in this case, a teacher, administrator, or coach, and those coaches are allowed to help prep, train, and educate participants all the way up to the game day. However, and no exceptions here, as soon as the game starts, there is no assisting the participants. Those caught assisting will forfeit their rights to the game and to future opportunities to play. Of course, we want to provide as many resources and would love to work with you all for those that have questions about how to think about the Space Grand Challenge. Whether that you're a teacher or a coach, please feel free to reach out to us. We've listed our email here at cci@calpoly.edu. We also have opportunities for volunteers, and you know, in addition to creating a team or getting the word out, we invite volunteers to help us through technical support on the game day itself, and many other engagements. Again, feel free to reach out to us, and we can try and match up if there's an opportunity for a volunteer opportunity. Important to flag that if you are a volunteer on the technical end, you won't be able to be a coach for a team. During the game day, we still want to engage the coaches, of course. And so we'll ask that coaches tune into the Twitch channel so they can watch and see what's going on. We have a great set of content that we'll have during the course of the day. And of course, we'll also be hosting a coaches corner on Discord so that folks can network, enjoy some programming and conversations with other colleagues in the space. In terms of registration, it's live. So we welcome everyone going onto the Space Grand Challenge website as soon as tonight and being able to register. Just again, the framing of who can register, minimum of 3 students and 1 adult coach. The adult coach can do multiple teams, but we require the students can only be on 1 team. Minimum of 3, maximum of 6 participants to play. All students in middle school or high school grades are welcome to participate, regardless if they're coming from a public school, private school, charter, or homeschool. And we also ask that that the coaches and captains be responsible for making sure that all the information that we need for registration is completed in an orderly fashion in advance of the competition. Again, we'll be sharing the registration information next week, but all of that information is available online today. One more thing to just mention, and this is us previewing this, be sure to follow us on social media. We'll be sharing clues for game day, and we wanted to make sure that folks also know about all the prizes that we'll be putting together in advance of the competition. So always exciting. So please do follow us, and more on that space in the days to come. Next slide, please. And I believe this is right. Now, before I hand it over to Henry, I want to take a moment and just thank our sponsors and constellation partners. The Space Grand Challenge is free for middle school and high schoolers, and that's made possible because of the investment and partnership we get with companies like Fortinet, Lemonatrix, JPL, Foundation for the Future, Space Force, and the National Security Space Association. We wouldn't be able to do this competition without their support, so I do want to take a moment and just share my gratitude and share the gratitude of CCI and Cal Poly for their support for this competition. Now I'm going to pass it back to Henry. If I recall the slides here. That's right, Henry. I think we have a lecture here.
All right, before we get going, McKenna, can you put in all of our media in there? We have some questions. What's our Instagram handle, as well as our Twitter and other places to reach us? That would be awesome. All right, so what I'd like to do next is it's going to be a quick cyber and space lesson by me, yours truly, Henry. And I actually put in the resources to what I'm going to talk about today directly inside the chat. We're going to talk a little bit about GPS spoofing, some jamming, and basic ciphers, if you will. So without any further ado, turn on your spatial awareness. That was a play on words on space, right? Because we will have a Kahoot game to answer some questions at the end. And I'm going to discuss some of this stuff in the next few minutes, so make sure you do like a network and turn on your listening protocol. All right. So first of all, during Space Grand Challenge, some challenges will include ciphers. Ciphers are a secret or a disguised way of writing a code, right? Let's say that you need to send a friend a message, but you don't want another person to know what it is. You could use a full-blown encryption tool like PGP, and if you don't know what that means, go GTS it, Google that stuff. If the message isn't that important, or if it is intended to be decrypted by hand, you should use a simpler tool. So one of the things I'm going to show right now is Rumpkin. This is a page dedicated to simple text manipulation tools, which can be replicated with just paper and pencil. So let's take a look. We're going to have someone switch over really quick and take a peek and go to rumpkin.com. And again, Rumpkin, it's in the chat itself. So momentito, we're going to pull up that website, which is Rumpkin Tools Cipher, which is in the chat. So momentito, we share that really quick. And then once we get done with that, I want to show you a couple cool ones that are in there. So here's the cipher tools. And at the top, you can see you go Rumpkin, web-based tools, and then ciphers and codes. And again, this is in the chat. So one of the cool things that is in here, one is, well, let's just scroll down a little. There's one is called actually the ROT13. There's also another one in there called a Gronsfeld, which is looking at different ciphers. The exact same thing as a Vignette cipher, but it uses numbers instead of keywords. And another one that's really fun is ROT13. So if you can click on the ROT13 one, that would be awesome. And it's a popular method of hiding text. You can only people who actually take the time to decode it can actually read it. You swap letters, for example, A becomes N becomes A, and it was quite popular on bulletin board systems and Usenet groups a long time ago. So I'm going to have whoever's controlling this put in the words capital space, and I want to show you what that looks like. So right there, if you have the word space, that's actually translated in ROT13, and you can see the letters that are right there. So there's a perfect example of using one of these codes that are actually in there. The next thing I wanted to talk about is GPS. So GPS and other global navigation satellite systems, they circle the Earth in medium Earth orbit, which is around 12,500 million miles above the ground. Again, 12,500 million miles above the ground. So let's talk a little bit more. GPS spoofing is when hackers code and transmit GPS-like signals that trick receivers, okay? The ones receiving the data or the data, whichever side you're on. GPS spoofing alters the signals or data associated with the global positioning system to produce different position, navigation, or timing. In other words, PNT information. It's a way to trick the GPS receiver and the applications running on it into thinking that you're in another place or another time. GPS and other global navigation satellite systems, also known as GNSS, circle the Earth in medium orbit, again, around 12,550 miles above the ground. The equivalent of almost 5 trips from San Francisco to New York, to kind of give your brain how far it actually is. Since those satellite signals are transmitted across such a great distance, they are pretty weak by the time they actually reach your device and or on the ground station. So in a GPS spoofing attack, a terrestrial radio transmitter mimics GPS signals at a greater signal strength than actual system can muster or agree on, effectively replacing real GPS signals with a fake signal. This used to be complicated, expensive electronics that only militaries could do. Well, today it's almost ridiculously easy to gain access to such a transmitter. So let's talk a little bit about GPS spoofing versus jamming. What's the main difference? While they may cause similar fallout, spoofing and jamming are two very different processes. Spoofing requires the attacker to be able to recreate signals from more than one satellite and transmit them to a specifically targeted receiver, as long as the targeted receiver can't tell the difference between the legitimate signals and the spoofed ones. The attack may go unannounced. So again, a jammer is a device that confuses the receiver by emitting radio signals at the same frequency as the GPS. So I just wanted to give you kind of a little bit of basic knowledge and understanding, kind of a quick cyberspace lesson to kind of talk a little bit about GPS spoofing, jamming, as well as ciphers and codes. So the next thing we want to do is continue to talk a little bit more, and then we're going to go ahead into the Kahoot game, which I encourage all of you to join. So thank you, and let's move on. So in a second, we will share. We need to give you the type in. We'll also put it in the chat, the game pin, to be able to start that. So just give us a couple seconds to start the Kahoot. So momentito in Spanish, or just a second. Stand by. takes just a second for us to start the Kahoot, so we have to generate the code. So just a second. Here it comes. All right, thank you. So in the top, you can actually see people already joining. All right, John's on it. Awesome. And Kendra, Jay. All right, we're getting some friends in there. You can also go into the chat and it shows how to join it as well. To go to kahoot.it, and then you're going to go ahead and put that number in. Give us a few more minutes here. And how many questions are there? Great question. There's 5. T just joined. Thank you, T. Couple more humans. And thank you for Yini asking that question. What is your IG handle? And it's great to see you here from space, Yini. We'll give it about 20 more seconds. All right, Gary joined that last 20 seconds. Woohoo! Thank you, Gary, for jumping in. All right, 5, 4. Oh, SPK made it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, go ahead and start that baby. Got 7 answers in. Looking at this good, looking good. Here they come.
I know I'm just a host, but I always get stressed out.
All right. Looks like we got that one. Next. Jay takes it from the top with John, JS, Erica, and Gary. Awesome. Looking at our scores. Another true or false. Scromsfeld decipher tool available in Rumpkin. Is that true or is that false? Click your true or false. All right. Let's see who won that one. Whoa, takes it away. John does. John, J, Erica, Gary, and SPK. Well done. Awesome. All right, next one. Jammer is a device that confuses the receiver by emitting radio signals at the same frequency as the GPS. True or false? Here we go. Getting close. What is it, people? Humans. True or false? All right. Next. Where does it stand today? Ooh, whoa.
No changes.
John is on fire. Looks the same. All right. Next one. Great work. All right. This one's going to take you a minute and a half. Remember, we used Rumpkin. What is this encoded message? Hint, ROT 13. So go to rumpkin.com, go to ROT 13, and try to figure it out.
Feel like we should have the Jeopardy, music on the background.
Yes. So remember, jump on over to rumpkin.com, go to ciphers, jump into Rod 13. My guess is if you type that in there and reverse it, it might tell you the answer. Whoa, we got 4 answers. Woo, awesome. Four answers, couple more, 27 seconds. You got this. Thank you, Jessica, for your comment. "15 seconds, folks. Almost done." Two, one, and time. All right. Woohoo! Look at that. And yes, space rocks. You all did so well. Next question. Awesome. All right, let's see what happens here to John. Oh boy. Gary's on fire and leading it up there. All right, next one. True or false? GPS and other GNSS circle the Earth in a medium Earth orbit, which is around 2.5 million. Oh my goodness, here we go. Didn't even get to finish it. Above the ground. 9 answers. Wow, you knew that one, folks. Woo! All right, next. And winners. Jay, 3rd place. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right. Let's give him a wave from our friend. And that is our
Awesome.
activity. Awesome SBK, John and Jay. Thank you for playing and having a good time with us today.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, this was a very fun opportunity to just kind of share a little bit of what to expect with the Space Grand Challenge for students later this year, and what we hope to achieve. This was just a fun way to kind of collect all of that information. Henry has done yeoman's work in preparing 80 plus hours of content, so folks have the ability to prep and get ready. But we wanted to just take the moment for the last few minutes here and just open up the floor if there are any questions. I did see that there was a question about if the session was going to be posted on our website. We will be posting this on our YouTube channel. And we are actually also going to, and please by all means feel free to share it. And we will also be hosting another session on July 13th and another session on September 7th. So please feel free to either come back, tell colleagues, tell friends, tell your students, tell your son or daughter to join us for the next session. We'd love to have them there. I see a question from Michelle about what's our YouTube channel. Again, it's off the top of my head, I believe it's just Cal Poly Cybersecurity, California Cybersecurity Institute is our channel. And we'll be just, oh, not Cal Poly, California Cybersecurity Institute on YouTube. Thank you, McKenna. One question that we do get often is if we're able to, if one school would like to field 2 teams. So for example, if there's 12 students that want to participate, can one school have 2 teams? The answer is absolutely. We encourage as many students. We'd love to see the intra-school competition work itself out, but students are welcome, as many as are interested in one school. Or if students come from 2 different schools, that is also allowed too. Well, give another minute before. Well, excellent. Well, I want to take the opportunity to thank you all. Oh, thank you, McKenna. So how much is the cost to participate? The competition is completely free. And so you can, no matter who's playing, the student and participants don't pay a dime to participate in this competition. The other question that is commonly asked is, can students compete without a coach? Unfortunately, they cannot. There needs to be a student, there needs to be an adult supervisor, coach, parent, teacher, to be part of the team. And happy to provide more information if folks are interested in learning more about that. And one coach can be shared for multiple teams. That is no problem. Well, excellent. We have listed here are, is there a lot of stuff for the equipment needed? My understanding there isn't, but Henry, maybe I'll throw this question to you. We have a question from Trent here. Is there a lot of setup for the equipment needed?
No, it basically PC, Linux, or Macintosh. Chromebook is a little difficult because you're having a RDP or remote desktop into an instance and or Amazon cloud version of a server. And then also the Unity rooms need a little bit more graphics power than what the Chromebook currently has. So no, not a lot of equipment. You just need a laptop to be able to jump on. And what is required for system is actually on our webpage. And it talks about the system requirements and some of the things you need to install, which is basically a remote desktop protocol. So great question. Thanks for asking, Trent.
Excellent.
Looks like
well,
that's it. Oh, yes, Max would work. Okay, thank you. Appreciate you both. Awesome. Thank you, Trent.
Thank you. Well, we have listed here our contact information. Please take us up on the opportunity as questions arise. Anything is totally acceptable to reach out to us about, whether that's questions about registration, volunteers, learning about sponsorship, learning about how to get more involved on the day of. Feel free to shoot us an email at cci@calpoly.edu, and one of us will get back to you ASAP. We also have our direct line listed there. And please do share the Space Grand Challenge. This video, like I said, will be up by next week, and feel free to forward it to folks and encourage them to attend the next information session. We'll stay on the line for another couple minutes here, just in case folks want to ask questions, but we thank everybody for their time, and look forward to playing the Space Grand Challenge in October.
Have a great day. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, everybody.